Good morning, everybody. Today is the fifth day of Adar Rishon, the first Adar, and in 2 days is the birthday of Moshe Rabbeinu. Moses has been born on the first of Adar, according to some. So it's his birthday. I want to wish him a happy birthday. Happy birthday to Moshe Rabbeinu. So I say this, and Jews celebrate the birthday of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's important to them, this birthday, because as the Gemara says, that the Moshe Rabbeinu's connection to the birth, and our connection to Moshe Rabbeinu's birthday is connected to the holiday of Purim that we celebrate every year. Because Haman the wicked, decided to destroy the Am Yisrael in the month of Adar, because he knew that it's Moshe Rabbeinu passed away on the 7th of Adar. So he decided, wow, the day that Moshe Rabbeinu died, in the month that Moses died, would be a good month for to destroy Am Yisrael. And the Gemara says that he didn't realize that it's the day that Moshe Rabbeinu was also born. So the question is asked, if Haman knew that he died, so he didn't know he was born, that was a secret. So Pashi did know he was born. He didn't realize the importance of Moshe Rabbeinu's birth. He understood the importance of Moshe Rabbeinu's death. That his death, the dying of Moshe Rabbeinu, self-understood, was a terrible thing that happened to the world. And he felt that since Moshe Rabbeinu died, that he was born, what's the difference? Who knows what happens when a child is born, what he's going to be? When do you realize the greatness of a person is when he dies. Now you realize what kind of great person you had in your midst. So that's why he was happy that he picked this month. But he didn't realize that the greatness of Moshe Rabbeinu was that he was born. And the Rebbe, the beautiful thing we saw yesterday, last night from Jewish to Gem, with the Rebbe, brings out this beautiful concept, and I connected, I think, to what we're trying to bring out over here in this chapter of Tanya. The Alter Rebbe is trying to bring out in Tanya, because Moshe Rabbeinu was everybody, the Rebbe says, really doesn't know. We go through life not knowing, or we struggle. We do know, as I'll soon explain to you, but we struggle with the purpose of our existence. And we think, what is the purpose of what we're on the world for? Or what do we need? What are we accomplishing? Moshe Rabbeinu was born. When he was born, his purpose was relevant, right? His purpose was seen. The Torah says, "Vayar ki tov." That when Moshe Rabbeinu was born, his mother called him Tuvia. That was his original name. Even before and why? Because even before he was given a name, that when he was born, the house that he was born in was light. He was born like a light bulb. He was light. There was light in the house. The house filled with light. Moshe Rabbeinu, when he was born, filled the house filled with light. And that's why she called him Tuvia, because he Tov, Yar ki Tov. He saw, wow, this child is perfect. This child is special. It's not just another child that's born. And number two is that he was circumcised. Yes, he was born circumcised, according to the Medrash too. He was born circumcised. So but Rashi says, this Bala Habayis Kula Oira, that the entire house was filled with light. Because Moshe Rabbeinu, from day one of his creation, from the day one of his birth, he was light. He was the concept of light. And that's why he was Zeicha ultimately to bring the light, to bring the Eir Hashem, the light of God, to the world. So what does that have to do with me? The Rebbe asked the question, what does that have to do with me? The Rebbe said that we were saying Tov Shem Mem Hey in 1985. What does that have to do with us in Tuf Shin Mem Hey? What does that have to do with us over here, Tuf Shin? And we're holding already Ayin Tes, Ayin Ches, well, I don't know what we're holding. Ayin Tes. What does that have to do with us in the year 2019? So the Rebbe says something that Alter Rebbe says in Zohar. Alter Rebbe says in Tanya. Alter Rebbe says in Tanya that every Jew has a nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu. Every Jew has a nitzutz of Moshe Rabbeinu. And the Rebbe said, I actually, for bringing yesterday, we learned the Maimah, and we don't, the Rebbe said it last night again, it's the expression that when the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, in the chapter 2 of Tanya, that every Jew is a chelik elakam imal mamish, and he said in that video, he said, the Rebbe said that to understand that 4 words, that the Alter Rebbe says in Tanya, that every Jew has a neshama, which is a chelik elakam imal mamish, to understand every person to their capacity, to understand those 4 words, that alone is a very powerful statement. That alone, that the Alter Rebbe tells every person, every Jewish person, that he's a chelik elakam imal mamash, that he's a part of God. That alone is extremely a powerful statement. That alone should change a person's life. If he understands those 4 words, it's not pashto words. These are very powerful words if you understand what those words. And the Rebbe says that if everybody would understand what the Alter Rebbe in that chapter of Tanya, which we're holding chapter 37 already, so we learned that a long time ago. So the Alter Rebbe, the whole Tanya is based on that concept. The whole Tanya, the Alter Rebbe starts as Tanya based on that aspect. That you're a chelik elakam imal mamish. And as I said yesterday, that the chelik elakam imal is a statement in the Gemara. Mamish, the Alter Rebbe puts the word mamish, meaning that not this time you have a statement and it's nice, a nice statement, it's a nice concept. It's mamish, it's real. It's a real thing. So you have to, the question is, what is real to you? What is real to a human being? Is it real? When you say mamish, that it's real, this table is real. I can touch it. This table is real. This book is real. When you say you have a chelik elakam imal mamish, you have a part of the Eibishter within you, and it's mamish, it's real. That means that you have to be able to touch it. That it has to be real to you. So the question is, how real is it to each and every one of us? That's why the Rebbe says over there, he says every person to his capacity to understand that words, to understand that line. A chelik elakam imal mamish. You read it in Tanya. The Alter Rebbe wrote it in Tanya, and he wanted every person should understand it to their capacity, to what it means. A real that we are walking. Part of the Eibishter is walking within us. What does that mean? To me, I can understand what it means in general, but what does it mean to me? Because it's the chelik is it within me. It's not only within you, it's within me. And that's a very powerful concept. And the truth is, the whole chassidus that we're learning, Tanya and everything, is to acquire this, to make it real. So the Alter Rebbe says, going back to Moshe Rabbeinu, that's why it's important, that we have a nitzul shama. This neshama, it has a nitzul, it has a spark of Moshe Rabbeinu in this neshama. So in essence, what the Alter Rebbe says, based on Kabbalah, that we all are walking, we have a part of Moshe Rabbeinu that's walking with us. So this Moshe Rabbeinu influences us until today. Moshe Rabbeinu influences us until today. And we should, if it's not influencing us, Moshe Rabbeinu, then it should surely influence us. And I had it with that, the Torah Tziva Lanu Moshe. When you open a book, the Chumash, you learn the Torah. You learn the Torah which Moshe Rabbeinu gave to Am Yisrael. And that Torah needs to be Chadoshim. That Torah, the Torah obligates us, wants us, that the Torah that we learn should be like new. It shouldn't be old stuff. It should be like a new thing. So I'm being influenced right now when I learn Torah, which I'm learning right now, Torah. Learning Tanya, which is based on the Alter Rebbe, which is based on the Torah, which is the Torah's Moshe. And Moshe Rabbeinu influences us today. And that's why it's important to know his birthday, which is in 2 days. Zayin Adar, the first Adar this week is the birthday of Moshe Rabbeinu, because Moshe Rabbeinu was born Tov. He understood the concept of his purpose, and he gave it to Am Yisrael. He gave that concept, this purpose, to every single Jew. Torah tziva lanu Moshe me'rasha kehilas Yaakov. He said the Torah which Moshe Rabbeinu gave, he gave it an inheritance to Am Yisrael. So Moshe Rabbeinu had that from day one, from this month, this coming Tuesday, which is Zayin Adar, his birthday. And it happens again every year, his birthday, this coming Tuesday. You should celebrate that you have the nitzvahs. That happened because he was born, brought down in this world, even though the neshama was in the world before. But his neshama came down to this world, Zayin Adar, the 7th day of Adar, in the first Adar actually. And that year was Adar was 2 Adars, and it's the first Adar. And it's his birthday in this coming Tuesday. So we should be happy.
So we should celebrate now, not the second month of Adar?
We can celebrate twice also, but why not? So but it's first Adar, that's his birthday.
The Kavra Kadisha doesn't get together till the following.
Yeah, because the yard is on the second Adar. I don't know, the birthday is on the second usually. Unless you're born on the Adar Rishon. That's the question. When was Moshe Rabbeinu born? He was born on Adar Rishon or Adar Sheni. When was he born? That's the question. So there's some hold that he was born on Adar Rishon. He was born in the first Adar. It's the whole conversation that Rebbe's having together. Rebbe, when was he born? Or Adar Rishon, Adar Sheni.
So we have a part of Moshe Rabbeinu, and we have a little part of Hashem too.
Yeah.
So wow, we really are a holy people. What do you think about it?
Wow, Baruch Hashem.
Yeah.
You figured it out, Baruch Hashem. You figured it out. But I'm going to throw a wrench in it. I'm going to throw a wrench into this.
Oh, no.
I have to.
No wrenches.
You have to throw it.
Well, there's nothing more. And the wrenches.
And the wrenches.
Yeah.
So the Rebbe said yesterday in the Yom Yom, yesterday's Yom Yom, the Rebbe says as follows, listen deeply. The first step in preparing for this discipline of meditation, especially in godly concepts, requires A, toiling with the flesh, removing one's pleasure taste from the worldly matters. B, toiling with the soul, to arouse a pleasurable taste in the contemplation of concepts in general and godly concepts in particular. So since we're dealing with spiritual things, and we're dealing with godly concepts, and the Eibishter, in his wisdom, wanted that these aspects should be felt in a physical way, as the Alter Rebbe says, mamish. And to be able to feel it mamish, you need to have avodas hagashmi and avodas haruchni. You need to have the avodah, the service of the body. That means the guf, the physical vessel which this neshama is coming into, needs to be worked on, needs to be developed. And if it's not going to be developed and refined, then you cannot have a spiritual concept. And then it needs to have the avodah of the soul itself. You need to work and toil in the learning of Torah. Because you're not going to toil in the, if you think it's just going to come into your existence easily, then you're making a big mistake. So you need to be able to rectify the guf, the physical part of one's existence. And then you need to work on the soul. It takes. So first you need to work on the body. You need to work on the body. You say you're davening, sur meira v'asei toiv. Sur meira, yesterday in davening, Tillah, sur meira v'asei toiv. You have to work on going away from evil rectifying the body, v'asei tov, and do good. V'akei shalom v'ratfeu. Run after peace, or search for peace, and run after it. So you need to be able, you need to have yegia. Over here, the expression is yegia. You need to have yegia, labor. You need a labor. Lasek b'divrei Torah. You need a labor in the learning of Torah. You need a labor in the concept of the Avodah in this world. So that's the Alter Rebbe over here. So really, we're holding, I believe, at the bottom of the left column, we're holding by order 27, I believe, around there. So just going up a little bit before that, it's been stated in Eitz Chaim, you see on page 176, the left-hand column, right before the last, I'm going up a little bit in that left-hand column before the second paragraph, and that it has been stated in Pri Eitz Chaim that the soul itself, the neshama, needs no perfection at all. The neshama is perfect. The neshama it's a chelek elokam mamish. It's as Moshe, as I say, you have a nitzvah of Moshe Rabbeinu in this neshama, which is born perfect. The house is full of light. And there's no necessary for it to be embodied in this world. Except, so why does the neshama come down to the world? The neshama is perfect. Doesn't need any rectification. So then why does it come into the world? In order to bring down the light to mend them, which is the guf. To make this body, to elevate this guf, the physical part of the world, and to make this physical world, and this is exactly similar to the esoteric exile of the Shechina for the purpose of elevating the sparks of light. So the Alter Rebbe writes, this is actually in the Hebrew, it's a soid golos hashchina. This is the hidden reason, soid golos hashchina, the purpose of why did the Shechina go into golos? Just like why did the question, why did the neshama come into the guf? Why would God says, when it comes to Mitzrayim, he says, B'chol tzorasum leitzar. The Abishah says, when a Jew goes into exile, I go into exile. Why does God go into exile? Why would God go into exile? Why would the Shechina, the presence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, go into exile? You want to send Jews into exile? Send Jews into exile. The Abishah is perfect. Why does God need to go into exile? The Abishah goes into exile, as the neshama goes into exile in the guf. In a way, the soul goes into exile in the body. The reason is to elevate the body. And the reason the Abishah, godliness goes into exile, is also to elevate the exile, which is called in Kabbalah Bidon and Tzutza, which is to refine the sparks that are in exile. So that's the secret, that's the Soid Agolos, that is the secret of exile. The secret of the journey of Golos, of exile of the Jewish nation. The secret of the journey of the soul in the body, which is an exile, like a smaller exile, is the secret of the purpose of why God wanted to elevate the physicality. Dida b'tartenim, as Alter Rebbe started this chapter. The purpose of creation was dida b'tartenim, to elevate the world, which is based in the parshas that we are reading in these weeks. I didn't come back to you. The parshas that we are reading this week, which is V'shachanti b'seicham, the Shechina, that God wants to dwell in this tachtonim, in this lower world. And to do that, then he has to lower himself. If the godliness would not lower itself to come down into the world, to elevate this world into the 13 things that are mentioned in the Torah, that the Beis HaMikdash was made of, it was made of physical things, 13 or 15 different physical things that created this dwelling place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu, for God. If God didn't want to do that, then he didn't need to have to. There's no need for him to do that. This is what he wanted to do. This was the concept of what he wanted to accomplish, is to be able to elevate this tachton, this lower level. Yeah?
But why?
Oh.
Why would he want to?
So
What would
Hashem,
go into
Okay.
exile. Why would he want
he
to do that?
created an
So again-
imperfect world intentionally and said, I want to live in this imperfect world, and I'm creating these imperfect beings, and their job is to make it better so that I can live in it better.
Correct. And why will that happen? And why will that
So
happen?
the $1 million question
So the
is
why?
the why.
The answer is because through this avodah, it actually elevates the spirituality. It elevates the spiritual thing itself. So not only does it elevate the physical thing, it also elevates the spiritual
Our
thing
souls?
itself.
Does
Yeah,
it
elevate our souls to even a higher level.
Here, that it doesn't.
So even if it's perfect,
It says
even
it
if
doesn't, right.
yeah, but even if it's
Even though it's
perfect, it can have an elevation.
Ah, okay.
So it can have its elevation. Also, the answer is simple answer to you. It says Nesava Kadosh Baruch Hu. The Eibush had a desire.
Say
You-
that
God had a desire
too.
to have a dwelling place in this world, and you can't ask a question on a desire. The Eibush's desire is L'mayla Matam V'das. That's the answer. That's God's desire is above comprehension, just like my desire is above comprehension. God's desire is above comprehension. Okay, so God, I have a desire. You have a desire. It's above comprehension. Cannot answer. You cannot answer a desire. You cannot ask a question on a desire.
Yes. So can I just share something? This is so beautiful. So Hashem, in his infinite Ein Sof, without a world, without us, without anything, was perfect. But he wasn't content. Why? He wasn't content because it was just there, like a single person who doesn't
Can't
have.
say the word. It wasn't content because they're not perfect. If you're not content, then it takes away from you. You can't have the paradox.
But if he
If
has
I'm
a
not content, then
desire-
I'm not perfect.
Okay, but if he has a desire, that means that he's missing something.
That's
No?
the point.
I'm just saying. Okay.
Right. So therefore, you can't even say that.
can't say
It's an expression.
Okay, fine.
It's
So,
an expression.
a person that's never had children, that's like Hashem being Ein Sof. You're pretty complete, except you begin to have a desire, perhaps, if you're gifted to have a mate, children, and then there's this desire to share with them, create a life with them, create a family with them,
Yeah.
and and there's this reward and punishment. So by Hashem being in this world, we're earning. And wouldn't he rather be a place where he's wanted? We're desiring him. We're revealing him.
Let's look at it. Let's look at it from because you can't. I agree with her, but on the other hand, the Eibush is above and beyond, and he doesn't have any needs. And the answer Chassidus gives, I believe,
It's a puzzle.
is more about us. Is the way we should look at it. If you can imagine the Eibush who has no need says, "I do need you,"
Yeah.
then me, should be able to create such a joy that something that doesn't have a need does want me.
Well,
And that is the example that's given is if you have a great man, a great philosopher, Einstein. If that is comes and asks a simple person for a favor, he doesn't need him. We can get it without him, but he asks him for the favor anyway. That changes that person's existence. Not that because the person realizes, hopefully, that, or let's say a king would come and ask of the Alter Rebbe says that a king comes out of his palace and he stops a homeless guy in the garbage dump and asks him to do him a favor. Asked him, I want to come. I need you, right? Why does the king need this guy in this homeless guy? He has ministers. He has enough. He doesn't need this guy. But for whatever reason, the king has decided, for reasons that I cannot comprehend. The homeless guy surely cannot comprehend, and it's not there for him to. The homeless guy should start dancing. That the king has come out of his palace and asked him for a favor. Now the Eibishter Allah has come a God who doesn't need me. I'm less than a homeless man in comparison to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. He doesn't need anything. Just like the king doesn't need anything. And the king, the Eibishter, he says, I do need you. That should really, if you look at from so we're stuck in with God. We're worried about God. We're partially worried. What does God need the will for?
Yes.
That's it. Don't worry. The question is, what do I need in the world? Not what God needs. What am I needed? What am I needed? And the answer is, the Eibishter says, I need you. What could be a greater entity in the world when God himself says, I need you? Do I need anybody else to need me? I'm always need validation. Human beings, one of the biggest things in humans need is validation. They need to be needed. We, humans, not only you Jews, but humans, God says, I need you. So why do you need anybody else to need you? The Eibishter says, I need you. Everybody else is icing on the cake. Why do we need to have anybody else to need me? I have the Eibishter that needs me. And that's enough for me. That's all I need.
Karen made a point that Hashem made us in his image, and we're never satisfied. Does everybody have enough money? Does everybody have...
I didn't say that. That's
No, but it's something that we have
Correct.
inborn. We're never really totally satisfied. Now I've reached the greatness that I'm done.
Because we're like God.
We're
We're like
never
God. So
satisfied.
Chassidus says we're like
so
God.
apparently, if he made us in his image, maybe this is a characteristic of Hashem.
Correct.
That he constantly wants to grow and constantly wants.
Beautiful.
I think it's a good characteristic.
Beautiful.
But she came up with
Beautiful. That's true. Chassidus says that. It's not. Kabbalah says that. Why do people are in a way built to be, their essence is aspect of needing, of unlimited, is because they have a godly soul, which is unlimited, which is a part of God that is unlimited. So it's never limitations. There's never enough. There's never enough.
And there's hukum. And a lot of things in kosher is we don't understand exactly why.
Right.
Doesn't mean we don't keep kosher.
Right. So you have to know
Certain
everything.
things we're just not gonna know. Maybe.
Yeah.
Eventually, hope.
No, my question is, why do you need to know? You need to know that the Eibishter has asked you for it. That should be enough. Imagine a king has asked you for something. You're going to say, I need to know why? You're going to be done for your joy. Did the king ask me for something? I need to know why. I'm not going to do it until the king is going to tell me why he needs me. The king has asked me for something. The B'nai Shalaylam. This great person has asked me for something. I'm going to say, wait a second, I'm not going to do it. First tell me why you need it. You're going to say thank you. You're going to say thank you. You're going to say, please, wow, it's an honor.
The Ten Commandments.
I can't wait to do it. You're kidding me? The king, because that's the problem. We don't have any kings. We don't realize. But if somebody special in your eyes calls you up and says, do me a favor, you're going to say, why?
That's the
You're going to
10
say,
Commandments,
my
right?
pleasure.
The Ten Commandments. When he went to the other nations, they go, why? What is it? What's in it? When he came to us, what did we say? Nasi v'nishma.
Right? Because if we understand HaKadosh Baruch Hu, that's the opposite. That's how we understand the Eibishter. That we understand that God is not needed, doesn't need it. If it's needed, then I could say, oh, you need something. Maybe you do need it. Maybe you don't need it. Right? Or how much do you need? How much the point is that we understand that God does not need it.
But he needs us.
But he says he needs it. That is the greatness. David doesn't need me. He has enough big knackers up there. He doesn't need Zalman Bukiet. But God says, I do need you. I want you. That alone should awaken within me an unbelievable joy that I am needed. I'm valid. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu is needed. I'm needed. Moshe Rabbeinu, if you're not saying, oh, but only Moshe, well, let the big guys do it. Let the bigger hoons do it. Like there's bigger people in the world. There's greater righteous people in the world than me. They can do it better than me. They're much more, they have greater knowledge. They have greater, their actions are greater. Why? I'm nothing. I'm a homeless guy. No, the Abish says, I need you as much as I need Moshe Rabbeinu. You're important to me as much as Moshe Rabbeinu is important to me. That, if you would understand that, then you would be happy. You would be as happy as can be. You wouldn't have to have. That's what the Rebbe says. If you would understand that, then everything becomes easy. Then you have no problems in life. Because everything is easy. What's the difference? How many mitzvahs are, what the mitzvah is? What's the difference? What's the difference? It's that the Eibishter has asked me to do something. What can be greater? A person like me, who I know who I am, and I know my negatives, I know where I was born, I know what level I am in, I know that I'm not a tzaddik, I know that I'm not so great. And here the Eibishter says, please do me a favor, put on tefillin. Wow. Unbelievable. Phenomenal. I should do the mitzvah, I should be jumping for joy.
So, there's a big learning here, because some people, they think that they can do everything by themselves. And this teaches us that we need others.
Okay.
And if Hashem
I don't know why I never mentioned that on this, my whole drasha here, but we can do everything by ourselves.
said we need Hashem. I know
I'm not saying you don't need others. You can do everything by yourself.
there seems to be a lesson that if Hashem is saying, I need you to us, right? And not just me individually, he needs the people on this planet that he put there. It's also saying that we've got to let go of our egos and be able to need others and let them know that they're important to us.
100%. Beautiful. We need everybody in the world. Everybody's important. And how do we know that? Because God created them. And if God created them, he needed everybody. So guys, even though I need myself, I need you. Don't worry. I still in need of you. We need to be together, and we need to help each other. So that's why I mentioned yesterday that, it says, true happiness. We are looking for happiness. That's a mistake.
Say it again.
We're looking for happiness. That sounds like happiness is something that's out of us. We're looking for happiness. Happiness is right within us. And we need to find happiness within us. We have to realize that we're born, we should be happy. So Zaita bi nishmasi. That I should be happy. I don't got to find anything. That's the purpose of my life, and that's why I should be happy. Not that I'm born and now I got to find happiness. You're never going to find happiness that way. You'll never find true happiness. Because that will make you happy, then that will disappear, and something else has to come up, or that gets old. Now I got to find new happiness. Or that happiness I thought would make me happy proved to be a lousy thing. And it's making me miserable. Some people that make me happy ultimately become pain in the neck. And it's not so happy anymore. So I need to constantly find happiness. I'm searching for happiness. And Torah tells you, you're going to search for your whole life. And you will ultimately find happiness only within yourself. That's where you're going to find happiness. If you're going to search for it, gesundheit, search for happiness. I wish you a lot of success in your search. Because you're never going to find it. It's not that the Eibishter didn't create happiness. Happiness, if the Hashem b'simcha, the Eibishter wanted a person, that means he put it in your existence, the concept of happiness. He didn't need to create something else that's going to make you happy. So that's what we're looking for. Some people need drugs, some people need mashke, some people need money, and then they'll always need more money. So if they have $1 million, they're happy. No, they need 2 million. When have 2 million, I'll be happier. When they have 2 million, I need 4 million to be really happy. And then to be, I'm happy, but I can be happier. And I can be happier and happier and happier. I'm never happy. I'm miserable my whole life.
What's the difference between simcha?
So that's it. You need to have joy. That's why joy comes within. Happiness is something that makes you happy. Happiness is what makes something else that makes you happy. We're looking for simcha, joy. Joy comes from within. If you can never find joy, you're never going to find happiness. I mean, you will find happiness, but it'll be full on. You go to Disneyland, you're happy. Then you leave, you're miserable. You go, something happens, you get happy. And then 2 days, next day, you wake up and you say, oh, finished, right? You go to a good restaurant, you're happy. But what happens? What happens? Next day, you're hungry again. What happened to the happiness of yesterday? Garnished. It doesn't last. So then you get, so we go from happiness to happiness to happiness, and we're never happy. That's why you have to have joy. You have to wake up in the morning. You have to realize the Eibishter made you a human being. You're to be happy. God made you a Jew. You're going to be happy because what you are, not what you're going to get, not what you're going to do. If you were happy with what you are, then everything, then what you do will be happy. But if you're not happy with what you are, then you'll have moments of happiness. And that is a waste of time. That's it. Don't look for happiness. Be happy, and happiness will come to you. That's it. You don't have to look for it. If you're a happy person, then happiness will follow you. You know what I mean? And that's the way it is. And that's the way it is. Simcha shel mitzvah. That's why we're looking for simcha shel mitzvah. We're looking for the joy in doing good. The joy of being. That's true joy. Joy of being. Not joy of what I'm going to do. Joy of what I could do. The joy of what I am. Right now. If I have a joy of what I am, I'm going to forget you, don't worry. If I have a joy of what I am, then everything else, that if some things, good things happen, it's machaya. And if bad things happen, no, life goes on. It's going to be good tomorrow. And it will be a better moment. So that's true joy. That is true joy. Other people, you have to constantly work on their happiness. They have to constantly struggle with this. I feel rachmanis for such kind of people.
So search for God, not happiness?
What? Well, God is within too. You're not going to search for him either too far. The Eibush is in me. The Eibush is in me. I'm going to search. I'm going to search for God. I'm going to search for happiness. God is within me. Happiness is within me. Nobody has to give me happiness. Nobody has to make me happy. I'm happy without you. I'm happy who I am. If you make me happy, that'll be better. And we can both be happy together. But if you're a miserable person, I'm still going to be happy. If you're a negative person, I'm still going to be happy. I'm going to be happy because I am happy. And that you make me happy, you don't make me happy, is not going to change who I am. I am who I am. I'm a happy person. And the truth is, we all have that. So I'm not saying me, Zalman Bukiet. We all have this concept. It's not something that's unique to somebody. Everybody, the Eibishter gave this, the concept of their neshama, which is the concept of their purpose and their joy. There's no need for anything else. There's really no need. If you understand it, that's what the Rebbe said, yes, if you understand it, then you got it. If you don't understand it, that's why we're looking for things. If you understand the posture with the Alter Rebbe who wants to bring out in Tanya, you'd be happy. You would have, doesn't mean you won't have tzaras. The Alter Rebbe in this book didn't say you're not going to have problems in life. Never promised anybody a rose garden. You're going to have problems. But if you're going to learn to look within, and you're going to learn to not only look within and to believe within, but touch it, to feel it. Because when you're happy and you're joyful, you feel your happiness and joy. It's not something that you don't feel. We all feel. The Rebbe said yesterday in the Sikh, he said, when you get excited for a knowledge, you feel it. It's not something that you're telling you're becoming happy from this knowledge just because somebody told you. No, you feel it. You feel it. You touch the joy. You touch the happiness. So we all know about this. It's not a secret. This is something that we need to focus on, and that takes avodah. See, that's why they're going back to that takes time. You have to rinse out your physicality. You have to get rid of your negativity. We have to get rid of our negativity, the negative concepts within ourselves. And we have to realize that we are perfect within. We are perfect within. Even though we're not perfect in a lot of things in life, But our essence is perfect. Our neshama is perfect, is pure and perfect and holy and happy. So we can just do that. We can be happy. Okay. What's your question? Now you forgot the question.
No, I don't. It's just a little bit, it's just, you kind of went way above that, but in Perky Avos, it says, he was happy as he was happy with his lot.
What?
And if you're happy with your lot, then you're happy.
See, but that's like a, so that's like a negative thing. I have to be happy with my lot. According to this, you don't have a lot. I'm happy a lot. I have a neshama. I have a lot. I have a problem. I have no problem. Everything's wonderful. It's not a lot.
Oh, who
I
is
don't know.
rich, yeah.
Right, who's rich? Yes.
Who's rich?
So, from what you're saying, I mean, I'm thinking that obviously there's a disconnect for many of us, I think, anyway, I'll speak for myself though, that
For all of us.
that connection of feeling Hashem and really feeling that connection, which is the true happiness from
Correct.
gathering.
Correct.
Right?
Correct.
The true happiness is feeling connected to Hashem.
But is it within me?
But there's a cover.
Again, it's within me. The Eibush is within me. The Eibush is not feeling Hashem above. He's within me. He's a chaylik, a lakam, mama. The Eibush is within me.
Right, so you're saying to get to that place of feeling that connection is avoda.
Yeah, it takes avodah.
It takes a lot of work.
It takes work.
It's like,
What do you think? This is a free lunch? There's no free lunch. This takes avodah. It takes avodah. It takes work. It takes effort. It takes effort. And the Alter Rebbe is going to give you an easy way. One of the easy ways to, okay. You might not like what he says, but the Alter Rebbe is going to give you a very easy way to do this. Okay? And the Alter Rebbe, so she told me, we all know this pasuk, we say this every morning. My God, the soul which you have given me is pure. You have created it, you have formed it, and you have breathed it within me. And you preserved it within me. So that's it. The neshama is pure. We have a neshama that's pure, that is tahor. Even within me, it's pure. It hasn't changed. It will never change. There's nothing I can do to change that. And that's a beautiful thing. That says, in essence, that even when I am doing anything what I'm doing, I still have a neshama that's pure. And that's never going to change. Any Aveda I'm going to do, any sin that I can think I'm going to do, it cannot change that. That neshama is pure.
11 months for the soul to be.
Because the soul got dirty and you got to cleanse the soul. Soul is pure, but it gets garments. That's what you learn in Tanya. You have garments of the soul. So the soul has garments and needs to take off its garments. So that's a good thing. Like I say, you can look at Gehenna as a bad thing, and you can look at Gehenna as, if you didn't go to Gehenna, you would never get into Gan Eden. Right? So Baruch Hashem, there's a Gehenna. So Gehenna is not a punishment. Gehenna is a tova.
It's a washing machine.
If it's a favor, if the Eibush didn't make a Gehenna, your neshama will never get into Gan Eden. You should never have to go to Gehenna. You should do tshuva, and you wouldn't have to go to Gehenna. But if you didn't do tshuva, thank God you can go to Gehenna. There are certain people that can't go to Gehenna.
They can't go?
No.
Why?
And they never let into Gan Eden. Chas v'shalom. There are certain neshamas. So that's a terrible thing. We want to go through Gehenna. In a way. We want, if our neshama needs to get into Gan Eden, so thank God we can go through Gehenna a little bit. That's a cleansing. Cleansing of the soul. The Gemara says that's why tzaddikim want to go through suffering in this world, because that's a Gehenna. The suffering in this world is a Gehenna. And then my neshama has a much quicker Gan Eden. That's why it's a Gemara. It's not a Chassidus even. The Gemara says tzaddikim mekab yisurim be'elam hazeh ba'ava. That tzaddikim, righteous people, accept upon themselves pain and suffering in this world ba'ava, with love, because they realize that this is what the Eibishter wants people to suffer. Bashit, that the Eibishter brought down his sham and the goof, and then he wants the body to suffer. That Bashit, he has enough from that. The Eibishter is having pleasure from such suffering. No, the Eibush understands that the neshama needs to have its elevation, and better the guf go through suffering in this world than the neshama goes through suffering in Elam Haba. So the guf goes through suffering.
How do you explain the Holocaust?
What?
The Holocaust. 6 million. I know it's a big question.
Listen, I'm talking simple things. Don't bring me. It's above my pay grade. It's above my. I don't know. You know when you say it every Yom Kippur, right? The Malachim when they were taking these great tzaddikim out and they were killing them, so the Malachim said Zu Torah v'Zu Schara. Is this the Torah and this its reward? And the Eibush says Shtoik, silence. Silence. What the funny thing is, if you read it, the tzaddikim were not complaining. The malachim were complaining. Right? Tzaddikim were kabel. Rabbi Akiva was smiling. Right? Tzaddikim were not complaining. The humans were not complaining. The humans were accepting. Right? You read the Asar. They say to each other, accepting yourself this thing, and that's it. That's the way it goes. And accepting it, and these Asar great tzaddikim accepted upon themselves this decree. The malachim said, "What's going on over here?" Right? The malachim said, "Zu Torah v'Zu Schara." This is what's going on. This is the way it goes. This is crazy. And the Eibush says, "Shtoik, silence."
I heard a wonderful story from the rabbi's wife at the kotel about this, and what she said was, Hashem never does anything to hurt us. So the question is, so why the Holocaust? So she said, all the neshamas were in front of God in Hashem's court, and Hashem asked every neshama and told the neshama before it came down what was going to happen. The neshamas that said, no, I don't want that, were not part of the thing that happened in the Holocaust. They were sent to the United States or someplace else. But all the neshamas that agreed to come down were the ones that suffered in the Holocaust.
I'll tell you what the Rebbe answered. He said, the Rebbe's question, somebody asked the Rebbe, and the Rebbe said it for bringing, and the Rebbe says, I don't want to answer this question. Because the Holocaust is a question that you have to ask God. A Jew needs to demand by God, just like the Malachim. The Tzaddikim maybe can say, you know what, Kabel Yisurim Ba'ava. But a Jew needs to turn to the Eibishter and say, enough is enough. You cannot do this. You cannot do this. And Moshe Rabbeinu himself said, Masai, what's the Lashon the Torah says? Moshe Rabbeinu turns to God and says, what are you doing this to this Jewish nation? And that's why you need to. The Holocaust is not, you should not give an answer. It should be a question. And God owes us big time. Okay, and as people say, oh, the Yitzro or this, there's no answer to the question. Question's a good question, and we'll wait for Mashiach to come to get your answer. But what? Okay, I don't know if those pom-poms are going to help us exactly. But,
Did you ever hear that the Jews that died in the darkness, the 10 million Jews,
right.
that those were the Jews that suffered through the Holocaust so that they could be redeemed?
Wow, I never heard that. You have to be too great. You have to hear that from somebody like that. You know what I mean? You have to hear that from somebody. You know, when the Satmar Rebbe came to the Frierdiker Rebbe in 1941, when they were both in New York, and the Satmar Rebbe said that the Jews are suffering because of the Avedas, and because they sinned, and the Frierdiker Rebbe said to the Satmar Rebbe, said to him, God did not make you, God did not hire you as his prosecuting lawyer. God hired you as your defense, as a Jewish defense lawyer. You're in the wrong team. You need to be on the defensive team, not on the prosecutor. God doesn't need you to prosecute Jews. God needs you to defend Jews. So to give a reason. Now you gave a reason for the Holocaust. That's to give my reason. So my grandfather died. No, I don't like these
But
reasons.
it's actually in line
I
with
don't like these reasons. I don't like it. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. I need Rabbi Shimon Yochai. I need a Tana to say such a thing. If I don't have a Tana saying such a thing, some rabbi said it. He was so that's a Tanoim. That's Tanoim. That's a great tzaddikim. It's time a person to say such a thing. It's crazy. You know neshamis. You can't say such a thing. So Yirmiyah, a Navi, prophesied destruction of the temple. It was a Navi. And the Rebbe said that the Eibishter said that the Eibishter made him suffer because he prophesied such kind of prophecy. What are you prophesying negative?
Wasn't he supposed to? Didn't Hashem
So he should have overcome it. He should have said, no, I'm going to prophesize positive. So the Eibishter punishes it. That's what the Rebbe would say. Whenever a Rav said something negative about you, you say, first of all, you're not Yirmiyah Navi, you're not Jeremiah. Number two, even Jeremiah was punished because he prophesied negative. So first of all, you're not a Navi. So what are you saying negative about Jews? And number two is, even if you are a Navi, don't you learn from the Navi's mistake? A Navi prophesies wrong and he's punished. You should not prophesize anything wrong. So we shouldn't be a prophecy. We should not say, God is punishing this person because you're not a Navi. What do we know? What we're going to start what God's doing? We should talk about myself. That's what they say. God is punishing me because I did something wrong. Not God's punishing that guy because he did something wrong. God should forgive everybody. Maybe she can forgive everybody. He should forgive everybody.
Amen. Rabbi.
Yeah.
I read Chumash.
Yeah.
I read the Chumash, and it says in the Rashi
Yeah.
that Rabbi Akiva
Yeah.
was punished because, and it says in the Rashi, I didn't make it up or think about
Okay.
it or do anything. It says
Rashi.
in the Rashi that Rabbi Akiva
Yeah.
was the reincarnated soul of one of the 10 brothers who put
Yeah.
Joseph in the pit.
Yeah. Okay.
So,
Well, Rashi is great. I'm not going to argue with Rashi. Surely not. Rashi said it. If Rashi said that, then that's true.
okay.
So I'm not going to argue with it.
When I read that Rabbi Akiva died with the iron.
So that's why he smiled.
I got very upset, but then that was what was said in connection to that. They have a little asterisk. And then
So that's why he should have died.
What?
So thank God he died.
No,
No.
that was his form of tshuva.
Couldn't you figure out another way to do tshuva?
But I didn't do it. Hashem did it.
No, couldn't we figure out another way to bring tshuva to this?
I don't know.
First of all, it's not a. It's the when you say Asar Ugi Malchus, the king himself says, "I'm going to punish you because these 10 brothers. I'm going to punish these 10 sages." So when you see openly the connection that between these two and this story of Yosef, the Roman king says it openly that they connected these 10 rabbis, and the truth is that's why they accepted upon themselves. The Kohen Gadol goes up to heaven, so to say, and he says, "This is the Gezerah. That's the connection, and you have to accept upon yourself to rectify these concepts." A tzaddik dies. Why does a tzaddik die in general? You die for sin. These tzaddikim never sinned. They die because of other reasons. Self-understood. You got to understand, why did these tzaddikim die in general? Why did these tzaddikim die? Not in the question why.
They never sinned.
They never sinned.
Moshe made mistakes.
Moshe Rabbeinu did not sin. I'm talking about sin. Make mistakes is one thing. Sin. I'm talking about Vedas. You make mistakes. Mistake is not a sin. None of these tzaddikim, not Moshe Rabbeinu, did one of the 613 Avedas. You can't make up your own sins. Sneezing can be a sin. It's not. If you sneeze in the middle of davening, Shulchan Aruch, you go look it up. It's a shayla. Why do you sneeze? And you got to look into yourself. Is it one of the 613 Avedas sneezing? No, you got to. Machshava zara, I had an evil thought. Is terrible in the middle of prayer. Is it one of the 613 sins? No, it's not.
He forgot to circumcise his son.
Who did?
That's a sin on the son, not a sin on him. It's not a sin on him. First of all, Moshe Rabbeinu was not, the Torah was not given even yet at that time. Moshe Rabbeinu did not sin nothing. The Asar U'Gimal, the tzaddikim did not sin. That's why you have to actually ask the question. And that is how the Nashi needs to find a sinning to rectify something else. Not rectifying themselves. A regular person dies because of his sins. He needs to rectify himself, which death is a part of the rectification. But a tzaddik doesn't need to die because of himself. He has no sins. What does he die for?
But the neshama before.
That's why a tzaddik, it says here, a tzaddik, his body does not decompose. Even after he dies, his body will stay whole. In it. Why? Because he has no rectification. He's too pure physically and spiritually. He's a pure entity. That means his body and his soul became one. As his soul becomes an essence of something that lives on forever, his body will live on forever. His physical body will live on forever. That's a fact. In the Holocaust time, they've ungraved great tzaddikim. They had to remove their kvarim, and they found, even though they were buried hundreds of years, their bodies were full intact as the day they died.
Well, isn't that?
So that's why, for us, Baruch Hashem, for regular people, we want our bodies to decompose. Because that's a rectification for the neshama. The faster the body decomposes, the faster the neshama goes to Gan Eden. Because the body needs to go through its rectification. And part of its rectification is that it becomes batal. The body was an ego, became an aggressive, egotistical thing, and it needs to go away. And the faster it goes away, the better it is for the soul. And the Eibush will then Tchias HaMeis and bring it back together again. So get back your body. Be'ezat Hashem. But a tzaddik never sinned. Not only never sinned, used his body only for Kedusha. So his body became as holy as his soul. And he lives on. So his body lives on.
And that's
It's not Yaakov Avinu lo meis. Yaakov, when it says Yaakov Avinu lo meis, Yaakov Avinu, his body is still there. For a body, especially, you don't take an embalmed body. This is a miracle. Think about it. For a body, for a guf, not to decompose in the ground without embalming it, that's supernatural.
Like the burning bush.
That's crazy. That's miraculous.
Yeah.
But it's not miraculous. It's not. Because the Eibishter made the body, that the body should be able to be rectified and to become as great as a soul. It's not a miracle. The tzaddik did it. That's it. And we don't. That's it. The tzaddik rectified his body, changed his body, that his body became a true vehicle for the neshama, and therefore the body lives on. It's nothing miraculous. It's just the way it is. To us, it sounds like, wow, it's a miracle of miracles. But it's not, because that's the way the Eibishter created the world. That's the way to begin with. God created the body. So that the body, to the miracle to us is Tchias HaMeis, that'll come back and it'll make the body again. That's a miracle. But it's not. It's really the miracle. The body should stay a whole. The body should be nitzchias. That's why it says, the Kabbalah says when Mashiach comes and Tchias HaMeis will live forever. The body will live forever. People say, well, that's crazy. But that's the way it is. That's the way it should be. That's like the soul should live forever. Why shouldn't the body live forever? Why can the soul live forever and the body has to go away? Why?
What happened to the process with the neshama if, God forbid, chas v'shalom, a Jew is cremated?
That's very sad.
But what happened to the process?
Well, today, again, most people cremate because they don't know what they're doing. So the Eibishter forgives them. So very powerful. The Rebbe writes, I saw with the JLI class, the Rebbe, they bring down one of the footnotes. The Rebbe writes, I got to look at the Sikh. I didn't get a chance to look at the actual Sikh of the Rebbe. But they bring it down in a footnote that the Rebbe writes, based on a Rambam, that basically the Eibishter forgives Jews. Because the Pasha Tinik Shinishbu. They have no idea what they're doing.
What about
That they don't even Flumid don't know what they're doing. Don't really have a comprehension in what they're doing. People don't have a knowledge today. We're far from the true knowledge. We're very, even though there's so much knowledge out there, it's very what's called shitchistic knowledge. It's a very flowing knowledge. We don't have deep knowledge. We're in superficial knowledge. We're acquiring a lot of knowledge. We have a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge up there, out there. But it's superficial. It's not internal knowledge. It's not changing. It does, but it's not. And that's why there's so much arguments and chalekes and camps and different agendas. Everybody, it's like Torah has 15 different. Torah has one agenda. Where's this 500 different agendas? Because that's Gullus. That's Gullus created that. Even by religious Jews, created this different camps and different opinions and different agendas. You would think there's 5 different gods in the world. There's 5 different Torahs in the world, you know. There's different Torahs. Torahs Achsidis, and there's Misnagdim, and there's Vitishva, and you can go. So many camps, you can go crazy. So there's really no true knowledge. We really are not grasping the essence of Torah.
I mean, it's not affecting any change.
It's not getting the essence. We're all not getting the essence of Torah. We're just not getting it. We're in Gullus. That's why we're in Gullus, because we're not getting. We're just not touching it. We're getting the outer expressions, the outer bank, the outer rays of godliness. We're getting the outer rays, and it's a lot. Baruch Hashem, it's changing the world, but we're not touching the essence. We're not touching the essence. We're just not getting it.
They got it right.
Right, they got it right.
Their Rebbe is right. They're the only
Right,
ones.
correct. And that's sad. Because the Eibush is right. Not your Rebbe is right. The Eibush is right. We got to get God is right. That's it. When we come to that, then we'll realize that we maybe got the essence.
So when she spoke about cremation,
Yeah.
I go back to the Holocaust, all the souls that were burned.
Yeah. That's not cremation. That's not a level of cremation. They were forced. They're forced, right?
Cremated, that's it. So then the Neshamas would go straight to
Yeah, then the Neshama goes to Gan Eden. Even if they weren't cremated, they're killed as a Jew. They go to Gan Eden. They go straight to Gan Eden. Yeah.
What's the easy way? I'm waiting here.
So the easy way is as follows. Okay.
You got 2 minutes.
So we got. You ready? I'm gonna give you the easy way. So the Rebbe says, look at how the Rebbe says. In the light of the above, one can understand why our rabbis of blessed memory so strongly emphasize the virtue of charity. Declaring it balances all of the other commandments. Charity, tzedakah, giving tzedakah. And throughout Yerushalayim Talmud, it's called simply the commandments. If you want to know what the essence of commandments, it's tzedakah. For such was the usage of the language to call charity simply mitzvahs, because it's the core of the precepts of the action and surpasses them all. The concept of giving of oneself. Tzedakah, money. Giving of one's money. Because tzedakah can mean many things. It can mean helping somebody. No, we're talking about cash. We're talking about money.
Credit card?
Because a person, people can give their time and they give, but they don't want to give their money. Why? Because it's their money. It's their money. We're not talking about every person according to their capability. Whether it's a penny or it's $1,000. It's their money. It's their money that they think that they need to pay their bills. It's their money they need, and really, they do need it. Nobody's arguing with you. Actually, that's really giving money. When a person takes from his money and he gives it, something that he could buy for himself, that he needs for himself. He really does need it. And he gives it to somebody else. That's the most powerful thing he can do. Because that's giving of self. That's giving of self. And that when you give your time is not giving of self. When you give help, it's not giving yourself. Because you can have that extra time. But that money, that money is something you work to get it. You worked hard to get that money. And you need that money. And you give it to tzedakah. That is the most powerful thing. And it's not the amount of money. It's that you give money. You take that money and you give it to something else. It's the most powerful thing you can do. And that's what the Gemara says. Tzedakah tatzel mimavis. The Gemara says charity will save your life. Charity will take us out of gullus. The Gemara says charity will take us out of exile. It's a thing that most of us don't want to do. And we might be justly for, but it's, I don't have money. Where am I going to get the money? I don't know. You need to overcome that. That's what you need to. If you trust in the Eibishter, you're not going to lose by giving that money away. You're going to gain. But it's a very difficult thing because it's real. It's mamish. It's not fake. So it's real. Money is real. Money, either you have it and then you give it away, you're not going to have it. It's something that is real. You need to make, and that makes it, that the Gemara says, that makes it real. Everything else could be just a nice fantasy and a nice feeling good thing. This is real. To take money that you have, you worked for, you need, and give it to another person that's need, you have accomplished.
I heard many times that you're not allowed to test Hashem. You're not supposed to say, if I do so and so,
Right,
please
besides
give me
money.
some. Except for
Charity,
except for
correct.
tzedakah.
Correct.
I just want to say that just another side of that
Yeah.
is that Derech HaTeva, though, I see that it's a lot easier to give high dollar than to give. It's a lot easier to say high dollar
Right.
than to give up your time, to give up your service. I understand what you're saying in terms of we work hard for our money and it's the solvent in the society. But I see a lot of times that rather than giving up their time, it's much easier for people to give money. In terms of just the way reality is.
Okay, good. I hear that. But I'm telling you, those people who do that,
I understand we're saying that.
those people who do that.
Mega mitzvahs,
Right.
but the idea really is that, especially in this society, I see like in a place that has wealth, a malchus of money, it's much that people are more prone to just throw some money as opposed to throw their time, their effort, to Mabakar Chola, to join Chatzor or something like that.
Right.
Oh, I'll give $18, but to join Tomkei Shabbos and give 2 hours a week and drive. No, I can't do that. I can't do that.
Right.
So I'm just saying, in terms of if you do self-examination, in terms of we talk about desire, like a nefesh behema wants to take care of itself, and the out is I'll give a check. So I'm just saying that's another position that I see.
I'm not arguing. And to answer your question is, even to that guy who thinks he can give money, is because he's not giving enough money. Okay, he's not giving enough money, and that's okay. He has to give money until it hurts him.
Right.
He has to give more money.
And that's individual.
You're right. So that's the thing. For one guy to give $18, for a rich man to give $18 and walk away, that's not considered giving money. Giving money means you take a chayin. That's why it's chayin nafshay. If a guy has $1 billion, he gives $1 million, he's not chayin nafshay. When you give tzedakah, it's chayin nafshay. That's the expression in the Gemara. Chayin nafshay means I'm taking out of my money that I can eat, and I'm giving it to somebody else. Okay? It's very...
The Baal Tanya didn't say Gemilas Chassadim. The Baal Tanya...
No, tzedakah, money. And the Baal Tanya is... But the Baal Tanya is not saying something on his own. He's basing on the Gemara. The Gemara. So it's the Gemara. The Gemara says, tzedakah. Tzedakah tatzal mav. Doesn't give me a son tatzal mav. The Gemara says, tzedakah tatzal mav. The Gemara says, tzedakah tiyim b'mishpat tipada v'shav... That's the Gemara. It's a pasuk in Tanakh. Tiyim b'mishpat tipada v'shaver b'tzedakah. That's what it says. You can't change it. Why? Because money. Because money is going... I agree with you, but rich people need to give more money. Statistic-wise, I'm telling you, you can go Google this. Statistic-wise is that poor people give more tzedakah than rich people. That's the reality. Tzedakah money. Poor people give more tzedakah than rich people. Why? The rich people give because they're not giving tzedakah.
So I want to ask you a very practical question about tzedakah.
Yeah.
So there are people that are collecting that are very, very questionable.
Okay.
So I'm just curious as to what's your psak on that. You know, I'm not even talking about a guy that's homeless. You think he's going to use it to go buy alcohol, but you
Right.
know, in that one too. But just in terms of
Pesach es yadecha.
you're davening and
Pesach. I'll answer you. Pesach es yadecha.
Which means,
Umazbia lechol
what does
chayrotzin.
that mean?
Open your hands. You have in month of Adar. The Ramah says in Shulchan Aruch, Kol ha'poshit yad, nois nimloi.
it says in
Kol ha'poshit yad,
we
nois.
actually increase that.
Right. Somebody puts in your hand, give him $1. Don't give him $1 million. Give him $1. Right, give him $1. If a person needs to stretch out his hand, like I always say, thank God you're a giver, not a taker. You don't want to be a taker. Be a giver. If somebody reaches out his hand, give him $1. Give him a quarter.
When my kids were little, right, and a shower would come to the door in Muncie, my kids would say, Mom, maybe it's one of the Lamed Vav Tzadikim.
Yeah,
Give
you
him
never
a
know.
quarter, give him $1, give him
So you read after that, but he goes more over here, because he goes more into the power of money. Because money is money. You cannot but money changes a person. Money makes a person, changes a person. Why? Because money, kesef, money, it affects a person's life. And it's chaya nafshay.
I hear this. I just want to say, in reverse of it, I saw Or Chaim on
Okay.
last week's parsha that spoke about the idea that when you give the person money, you remove his resentment towards Hashem. So when you're giving him money, you're actually assisting him, not in terms of baguf, but you're helping him spiritually, because he has
Beautiful.
resentments against Hashem, against his place in the universe.
Right.
He's so poor.
Beautiful.
He's very angry. So if you refuse him, he goes, you see, there's another. When you give him money, there you go.
There is a God.
There is a God.
I love it.
I hear it.
There was once came to the Baal Shem Tov, and they asked the question: do you believe in Hashgacha, divine providence? So every mitzvah and every aveda is a divine providence. So the question is, what the aveda says you're not allowed to, you have to believe in God. You're not allowed to have another God. So what is the Hashgacha Pratzin having another God? When is there a possibility to have another God? So he said, when somebody comes to you and asks for tzedakah, you say, wait a second, there's a God in the world. If God wanted to give you money, he would have given you money, right? So go to God. Then you say, there's no God. You're God. Give the tzedakah. Give the tzedakah. Don't become so holy. Where is God? Why didn't God give you? Why? We say it's a pesach chesedecha umazbia lechol chai rotzain. It's a very. It doesn't say. It says the rotzain. Pesach. In essence, we say to the Eibishter, don't give it according to what your rotzen. Give their rotzen. Right? Give their will. You might say, oh, your will is not right. No. Pesach chesedecha. Open your hands. Umazbia lechol chai rotzain. Give him his will. That's taka. Give him. He wants it. He doesn't deserve it. Give it to him. That's his will. Give it to him. Give it. And we all know the Gemara says that by doing that begashmius in this world, the Eibishter does that to you. If you go rotzain, even though you say, oh, man, I don't know the guy, give him. Guys, give him. The Eibishter says, okay, I give you. Everybody. Have a wonderful week.